What up, gamers? We are back with some more modern action. This time it's going to be Izzet Twin versus Hardened Scales. I, of course, am NanMan, and we are here. And I'm actually playing in this video, so, we'll see how it goes. It's been a while since we've seen Twin on camera, so I thought it'd be fun to play decks that I haven't played in a while. And, of course, namesake of the deck on the other side, Hardened Scales, already coming out in turn 1, which is scary to see. That means things are going to get explosive quickly. The Twin as a deck in Modern has fallen off. It basically is non-existent. So I'm still trying to, like, the deck is cool. It's cool to play old school cards and decks that don't really work anymore, I guess. I say they don't really work because they're just too slow, or they're too fragile, too glass cannon. There's too much interaction and removal in present day Modern to be able to keep up with it. So it's kind of how much can you dilute the package of Twin to put this 2-card combo within your Izzet shell to still have a viable and feasible game plan that is not as all in as possible. So the way that I have approached this is by doing a kind of Murktide Izzet Wizard package with Splinter Twin thrown into the mix. So I've got a couple copies of Tameo, a couple Thunderthrap trainers, we've got some sort of just like wizard package in there, and then we're casting all these cantrippy stuff, digging for twin pieces that we are going to eventually try to maybe go for that or go for some Murktide stuff. The other side, though, this Patchwork Automaton is so scary, and with Hardened Scales and even more artifacts coming out, like the big scary part of Patchwork is the Ward ability. Ward 2 is crazy. I currently have 0 copies of Patchwork Automaton in my versions of Hardened Scales, but seeing how out of hand this is, this is a 7/7 already on turn 3. So that bolt that we're sitting with in hand is not very effective here. Basically, we're just kind of setting ourselves up to go to game 2 and try to do what we can, because we know we have a lot more sideboard options available to us. But this is the challenge. All right, Urza Saga. Let's see. Search is good. Oh, also we get to see some, power of the deck a little bit. We get to see with the search what to find, and it's going to be another Welding Door. Basically, we're just guaranteeing ourselves victory here, right? So a chance for removal will protect the creature with Welding Jar, and then if there's any more interaction, we have a second Welding Jar to kind of follow it up here. So Welding Jar, real good, real good. And Stirrings. I'm also not running Stirrings in my list anymore. I've got the Malevolent Rumbles and stuff like that, but I also have Emery's and Kappa Cannoneer in my version of Hardened Scales. So this is another cool card. Metallic Mimic. You see this go up and down fluctuation from time to time. Some people include in their list. So you choose a creature type. In this case, we're going to choose Construct. So each creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield with an additional +1 counter. So we can cast this Walking Ballista essentially for free, but it will be getting a counter off Metallic Mimic. We'll be getting a counter off Hardened Scales. So we're going to attempt to try to fight over this. It doesn't really matter with the amount of Welding Jars. So these get bigger. Walking Ballista resolves. And then we can shoot the blocker of the Snapcaster and die to the double Patchwork. Very quick, very fast game number 1 here. So it is really going to be reliant on the sideboard stuff to keep going now. This is no indication of what the deck can do, but also in a way it is an indication of what the deck can do, because, both sides of the field were doing the thing, right? Are just like, here's cantrip, here's blue and red stuff. These bolts aren't really useful against Patchwork, but they would be useful against other creatures. While the Hardened Scales is like, I'm just going to play artifacts and kill you. Hope you're cool with this. So sideboard, we'll see what happens. There is a lot more cards available. And look at this, Gemstone Caverns coming out here, basically saying, hey, you wanted to go first? No, you're not going first anymore. I'm going first. So this kind of lets our players set themselves at another Patchwork Automaton, which will be met with the consign. Again, if you're running blue, you're running a play set of consigns in the sideboard. I have too many blue decks and not enough copies of consign. I think I was looking at over it the other day. I have 3 consigns in my Jeskai control list. I have 2 of them in my Blue-White Miracles. I have 2 of them in my Izzet Prowess. I have 2 of them in my Dimir Murktide list. And I have 1 of in this Izzet Twin list, I think. Maybe I have 2. I can't remember now. But yeah, so like I'm spread out too thin. I need to start getting more, but you should be running a play set of them if possible because of artifacts, because of, you know, Eldrazi. They're just so... It's such a good card. But we don't have a way to deal with that right now. But the hand is full of a lot of 3-drops here. So Patchwork is out. We're going to see what sort of setup turns we've got here. Malevolent Rumble's nice. So you got to look at those top 4, set something up. Another Metallic Mimic, an Urza Saga, Zabaz, Walking Ballista. Walking Ballista being in the graveyard is perfectly acceptable and fine because of the Agatha Soul Cauldron that the lists run that allows you to turn your other creatures into Walking Ballista. A little Eldrazi spawn token. Ugh, Ozolith is so good. Ozolith is that, like, super flexible card. I mean, oftentimes you can win once you get an Ozolith out because you do some kind of artifact manipulation and you just kind of one-shot people and be like, especially with, like, Arcbound plus Ozolith is basically, like, game over. All right, the beatdowns come with the Patchwork. Looking for a 3rd land here. There it is. So that allows the Meltdown to get used. So sideboard stuff coming in. Destroy each artifact with mana value X or less. Which means, luckily, there's no way, like, welding jars or anything like that this time around. Alright, Urza Saga. This will help us try to come back, catch ourselves back up in this. Ballista on 1. And there's a Cauldron too, so that's going to help out a lot. So, you know, there is the Walking Ballista in the graveyard, but also that Zabaz in the graveyard does make a big deal. All right, so this is recorded up pre-changes. So Harbinger of the Seas makes all non-basic lands islands. At the time of recording, Urza Saga would be like, I have no counters on me. I just die to state-based effects. Now that we have seen the release of the Final Fantasy set, they've changed the way sagas work, that they will no longer die to these state-based effects of Blood Moons, of Harbinger of the Seas. So that is something that is relevant in this game, and probably, you know, as a huge impact of Modern, not just like in this game, but in Modern in general. We're going to start seeing some players start doing some different lists. You know, maybe there might be some more, like, I don't know, Merfolky lists that you can run with it. Who knows? I'm still brewing some stuff up in paper. Going to probably try some MTGO leagues with it, with some Thopter combo stuff, because, you know, I like that list a lot. But yeah, Harbinger of the Seas no longer pops Urza Saga. So that means that if you keep your Urza Saga on 2 and then play a Harbinger or Blood Moon effect, you get to just have that ready to go, and it will just be able to make constructs forever. All right, Walking Ballista. We're going to do some Bolton. All right, sacrificing with the Arcbound's effect to put an extra counter on Walking Ballista and make him into a 4/4. He has 3 damage marked on him. And like I said, it is kind of an Izzet Wizard list. So that means that we do get access to, you know, things like Snapcaster Mage. So we can be able to start using our graveyard to help us out. And so we got to flash this in. And we will attempt to kill the Walking Ballista. But that'll be, boom, 3 to face, 1 to the Snapcaster, clear that up. And basically resetting the boards again. Another Urza Saga. So the big difference here between this and game 1, yes, the equip the spawn and send a message. The big difference here is like the amount of resources that are getting kind of fought over here. It's like no patchworks have been able to kind of stay around very long. So yeah, we are doing our MTGO leagues on Saturdays for people that want to be able to check those out. We just had our Cabal Coffers list. And look, another Harbinger popping, another Urza Saga. Back when this used to be a useful tool to help keep Urza Saga decks in check. It is no longer viable and feasible in Modern. But we are doing more MTGO leagues. We've got Cabal Coffers currently out. We've got a Sultai Living End coming out. We're going to be looking about a Mono White Death and Taxes style deck soon. We're going to do lots of different decks coming up on Saturday. So if you like those kind of long form, 2-3 hour, 5 round matches, and watch me make a lot of mistakes, where of course I'm making a lot of mistakes when I'm playing decks that I don't normally play or trying to learn. But also even this, like I haven't played Izzet Twin in a while, so it's like, let's play this. So there will be mistakes in this match from this side of the table, at least, where it's going to try to send a message here. Attempting to equip. Boom. Life total switch again, 7 to 22. Alright, so there's the big thing that we were missing. The basic mountain. So we are running 2, maybe 3. I can't remember how many. I know for sure we're running 2, but at one point we were running 3, but I think I shaved down on the third one. The basic mountains. Because we are not running the Blood Moon, we are running, the Harbinger style here. It's, I don't know. I like having the Harbinger over Blood Moon. You get a beater, like you could do some blocking. You get a little bit more flexibility there. So 4 cards in hand to 1 card in hand. So the passing turn here is that like indication that we're going to try to make the Harbinger, or make the not Walking Ballista, Hangerback Walker. Woo, words, we got there. Make the Hangerback Walker a little bit bigger, but we're going to attempt to do a meltdown here. Activate it so we can get even more friends. So we're seeing a lot of those sideboard cards and showing just how impactful they are against the Hardened Scales list. So there's our boom, boom, boom. Look at all these Thopters. Yeah, they are flyers, so that does make a little bit of a problem here, especially being at 7. Basic Forest. You can hear players in the background yelling about lightning bolts. So back to 20. Slowly beating them down, but there is the Pyroclasm to kind of wipe everything else out. And now it's like hard reset. 3 cards left in hand versus the 2 of a Hardened Scales player. Ugh, Patchwork No, hitting with that counterspell. Yeah, we cannot let Patchwork resolve. Patchwork is going to be a big problem, just like how it was in game 1. So trying to beat with the Ink Moth, not going to happen. We'll hit that with the Bolt. And again, it's just like sort of reacting, responding, trying to keep the deck in check. It's like very tempo-based, like similar to the Dimir list that run around. Alpine Moons, I forgot about this sideboard card. So this one's really nice. We can name Ink Moth Nexus, basically prevent that from being able to do any things it wants to do. Hardened Scales going to be able to get set up. So we're setting ourselves up, planning for kind of a, you know, our next big explosive turn here with the Hardened Scales. We need like an Arcbound or something. We can't go for an Ink Moth win, so that does, you know, cut that out of our options, but all right, Tameo coming out. So again, that wizard package. And that's kind of a lot of what is revealed right now. There's no other information that's trying to show that this is something other than that. Oh, I forgot about this misplay. Hey, let's try to bolt this. And then the Hardened Scales turns us into 4. And so we make the mistake of letting that die. So now we got to do the Flame of Anor, destroy our artifact, and flip it. Flame of Anor is such a good card in Modern right now. So like being able to run a playset of that with the wizard package, and like this really is kind of like, hey, you don't know we're playing Splinter Twin because I've given you no information or no indication that we are running Splinter Twin yet. It just looks like an Izzet wizard deck. Expressive iteration. The Hardened Scales player was like, I'm at 20 and he's at 4. I shouldn't be winning more. What is happening? Snapcaster's going to get put in that exile pile there. We could cast it this turn if we wanted to. But it kind of leaves us into an awkward spot if we would have to fetch. I mean, we could go for like another expressive or something like that. But no. Hey, Deceiver. We were just digging because there's the twin. Surprise! It was actually Splinter Twin all along. What? I don't know. I like Splinter Twin. It's a fun deck. It's not a good deck, but it's fun. And that's part of it. Like, we keep showing all these fun decks on the channel. I feel like that's been a lot of what we've been showing off. It's like, you know, here's this Neoform deck. You know, here's this Abzan Rhinos. You know, this Izzet Eldrazi. Like, these kind of, like, off-meta decks that people get to play. We also have a lot of very competitive meta decks. But, you know, we've got, let's see, some of the other videos that we've got coming up this month. For sure, we're going to be seeing... let's see. What do we got? Let me look. Of course, some Tron is still going to be featured. Some Jeskai Narset. Some Mystic Forge. Some... what else we got here? Lots. I don't know. Dimir, Murktide. We haven't seen some Oculus lists in a while. Maybe we'll see some Oculus, but we've got some setup happening. Oh, yeah. We tried to go for the Preordain, flip Tameo this turn, and our land that we draw into is the Cascade Bluffs and not something else. So we kept a very greedy hand. Oh, Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Yeah, I guess the Soul Cauldron's so good. Bring the beats. 2 damage coming across. Alright. It looked like there was an expressive. There's Counterspell, Consign. So it's like, what is the option? Yeah, okay, we'd go for the expressive. It is not a draw. You look at 3, 1 into your hand, 1 into your exile, 1 to the bottom. So what do we... Ooh, does that mean no land? That means no land off of those three. Oh, no. All right.
Come on, Dak.
That's tough. That's tough. Okay. Phyrexian Tower's nice. Walking Ballista for 1 makes the patchwork bigger.
You may commence with combat.
3. Dropping to 15. 15 to 20. So we need a good meltdown here. Need no land. That's probably not the land we want. Sink into Stupor, a.k.a. the land side of it. So that's 3 damage to be able to... Yeah, there's the meltdown. Let's get rid of all that. Uh-oh, some responsing happening. Don't like that. Tamiyo's Safekeeping. Target permanent you control gains hexproof, indestructible, you gain 2 life. That card's real good. I have 0 of those in my sideboard, and I might have to change that. That patchwork just got real big. So with the indestructible, it does not actually destroy the patchwork. Patchwork gets to hang out. And there are 2 cards left in hand. So it looks like, Tamiyo, your job is to get beat up here. Ancient Stirrings. I mean, there is a Flame of Anor, so we could go for the keep Tamiyo alive, take a big hit depending on what happens, but Arcbound. Do we cast the Arcbound here? Oh, another patchwork? Yeah, the only downside is, like, Flame of Anor is not... Flame of Anor does not do well against patchwork because you need 5 mana to kill it. Throw Tamiyo in the way, yeah, so we're not worried about it. Even though we could... Yeah, this is a tough spot to be in. Well, again, the patchwork really doing heavy lifting against the kind of prowessy, you know, well, we don't have any prowess creatures, but the tempo-y blue decks here. Do some scrying. Of course, we have the Sign Preordains, which I think I'm going to take out of that deck and put in a different deck. Put in the regular ones. All right, 2 cards left in hand for a Hardened Scales player. Yeah. So the plan will be to bolt the Arcbound here. And even if we bolt it, it's still going to be 6 damage. Sack Arcbound to itself. Put 2 counters on the patchwork. I guess it doesn't really matter, right? You just... One extra counter. Still the same, right? You're at... Like, our twin player's at 4 life, so... But I guess that would be 1 line. Sacrifice to itself. Modular trigger of 2. Get... The player's like, you just shoveled away the card that you wanted. With the scrying. And we get to do our surveil. Need another meltdown. Yeah, lightning bolt doesn't help us against the patchwork. We've got to find a way to deal with this. There's 3 cards left in hand now. This is tough spot to be in. Oh, someone bumped the camera. the table with the camera on it. Oh. Hardened Scales. It's pretty good.
Yes, that's fine.
All right. 6 coming across. Oh, down to 3. Basic Island.
I do, but
So, they said you don't want to shock something in. I mean, yes, but Flame of Anor, paying the ward, destroy an artifact as our modes.
I have no wizard to cast this.
Oh, yeah, you don't.
So no wizard means no 2 modes off of it. All right, what's the follow-up? No, another one. Oh,
Sorry.
the patchwork. It's too good. Pay the ward again. This is where you can be able to deal with it early before it gets out of hand, but most of the time it is not able to be dealt with. So did we stabilize at 3? The Seiju. I mean, the only benefit of keeping the Beseiju here is because we know that we're playing against Twin, but having the extra mana could be relevant. Reset up our lands. Oh my gosh. So this, every time that this comes up, I'm like, what the heck is this land? It's surprisingly good. Exile this, return up to 1 target historic card from your graveyard to your hand, then exile all graveyards. Which is crazy. Like, that's, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Assassin's Creed Bulk Rare? Anyone
Assassin's Creed Bulk Rare. All right, Haywire Might. That's basically like, is the coast clear? We'll hit it with the counter. All right, so we know there's the Arcbound. We're going to 2.
I've said, please kill me with infect.
How much mana does Ezekiel Exo cost?
3.
Okay.
Do you want to do any cutting?
Yeah, sure. I'll take it.
So yeah, that was the joke was at the beginning of game 3, or maybe it was game 2.
I'm gonna cast Savage Summon.
Oh gosh, wait, hold on. This is the Savage Summoning. Can't be countered. Next card you cast this turn can be cast as though it had flash. The spell can't be countered. That creature enters the battlefield with an additional +1 counter. And then, of course, the Hardened Scales helps with that. And hey, guess what? This can't be countered either. So he enters with 1, 2, 3. Flash in a Snapcaster for the blocks. But the joke was that when the Ink Moth came out, I said, please kill me with Infect. And it's like, I don't think, you know, our Hardened Scales player, she was like, I don't think anybody has ever asked that of me when playing against this deck. But it's like, Infect. I always would happily die to Infect over any other form in this game. No! Another Savage Summoning coming down. So, Savage Summoning, hey, you can see all these counter spells? Yeah. No. We're blown out by the double counter spell consign. Not prepared for the Savage Summoning at all. Look at this. Yeah, this, oh, I don't know. This game was so much fun. Yeah, so we got to see so many cool sideboard stuff helped us in game 2. But yeah, players, get your copies of the Savage Summoning while you can. They're like 40 cents right now on TCG Player. this shows you with the more blue that's running around, this will help you out. All right, think about your Eldrazi you want to not be countered. Well, just run a Savage Summoning on them. They won't be prepared. They'll be sitting there with their consigns all day going, I wish I could interact with that.
Oh, and it's just like looking for other like
Just looking at
random
cards.
stuff, and it's like, wait a minute, this actually.
Yeah, Savage Summoning. Oh, yeah, so there we see lots of cards brought in, but only one consign. Not that it would have made a difference having more in that specific matchup, because the Savage Summoning just blew us out there. So, but yeah, that was a fun one. I hope you all enjoyed that one as much as I enjoyed being able to play it. But that's going to do it for this episode. Make sure you guys are tuning in every Monday and Thursday for our in-paper person matches. And then, of course, our MTGO stuff on Saturday. But that's it for me. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching, everyone. And I'll see you all next game.